Hello and welcome to another episode of Monday Markets. I hope you took my advice on Friday and spent the weekend doing something else other than watching charts, because as expected, nothing really happened. Pretty boring sideways action, apart from a little pump to 25.2k on BTC on Sunday evening. But apart from that, fairly boring, fairly sideways. So I hope you had a good weekend doing something else. But now it's Monday, let's get back into the charts. So BTC weekly still looking pretty strong. However, as I said, we still haven't got over that 25.2k monthly resistance level. If we quickly flick to the monthly, we can see that there. Obviously, as we said last week, bounced off 21.5k support, and now between that support and the resistance at 25.2k, obviously a huge barrier. Get beyond that, and that certainly opens the door to 30k if we can get above it. So that's the weekly and monthly. If we go down to the daily, so we flipped the 23.8k daily range high level into support. As you can see, we bounced off that earlier this morning and having another little go. So we've had 3 attempts at getting over 25.2k so far. Not been able to do it. Is it third time lucky, or do we get a definite rejection this time and a swing lower for some more liquidity? We'll have to wait and see. We have no US market this week. In fact, let's quickly go over what to expect this week. So, as I say, no US market today. We've got a few more earnings coming out, but the majority of the important ones have already come and gone. Not much else in the week. Update on housing, not really too big or exciting. On Wednesday we get the minutes from the latest FOMC meeting. Could get something come out of that, but it's unlikely. It's probably going to be a pretty uneventful week in terms of news. I think the majority of the attention is going to be on the charts themselves. There's a little bit more detail on what's coming out. So they're the earnings that are coming out this week. As I say, nothing really jumping out as being having a big effect on the markets. We get a few CPIs, so Eurozone, Japan, etc. But we all know that the US is the most important one. And as I say, apart from that, we got home sales and then the Federal Reserve minutes from the end of Jan, start of Feb. So nothing too much in the way of news this week. I think it's all going to be about the charts and price action. So now we've done BTC, we'll quickly have a look at ETH. Pretty boring on ETH. I'm just going to clear up these levels, actually. It's a bit untidy. Let's get rid of that, So we flipped the 1660 daily level range high. We were stuck in this range for ages, 1660 and 1520. We flipped that into support. However, we are now stuck at this monthly resistance at 1720. So not really much to go off on ETH. However, of course, if BTC manages to break 25.2k, then I'm sure ETH will also break at 1721. And then you're probably looking at these highs here up about 20, 30, something like that. If we go to the weekly, again, as we've mentioned before, we are in and amongst some previous swing highs as well. Even if we get above 1720, we've still got this weekly swing high at 1780, 1800 or so. So again, lots and lots of resistance ahead of ETH. So it certainly wouldn't surprise me. Well, obviously, if BTC rejects 25.2k, I'm sure ETH will also reject 1720. Maybe they both come lower, grab some more liquidity to fuel another move up. We'll have to wait and see. ETH BTC still looking interesting. We talked about potential double bottom happening here last week. Still could, obviously, as long as this daily range low holds. And as we've mentioned before, what happened last time we had a double bottom in this range low, we had a nice little rally. But of course, break that, then we're probably going to come to the weekly and see what happens there. So a little bit choppy and sideways for now. See what happens for the rest of the week. Stables dominance threatening to lose that weekly level, which would of course be very bullish for BTC and ETH. So obviously a break of 25.2k on BTC, and you're probably going to see stables dominance take a huge drop. So be very interesting, although of course this is a higher time frame level, so it will take the rest of the week to play out. So keep an eye on that. Traditional markets, S&P. So we've rejected 4175 for a third time in the past 3 weeks. We also had these two previous rejections as well, but in more recent times, third rejection. Are we going to finally see a decent drop lower? My first target on the higher time frames will be this leg of the move here at about 3963. Just quickly mark that out. So potential there, could easily see that dropping down, potentially bring crypto with it. If we go to the daily, we've flipped that 4110 back to resistance, so could definitely see a move down to at least 3963. Could we bounce off that weekly level? Perhaps. We've also got confluence with this pretty strong daily level as well, so in and around 3963 and 3936. But yeah, somewhere in and around there could be a pretty good bounce zone, and as I say, if it brings BTC and ETH down, grab some more liquidity for another move up potentially. Lastly, the VIX, still not trending up yet, but of course if the S&P starts falling lower, then the VIX will go up. And of course the phrase to remember is, when the VIX is low, look out below. When the VIX is high, time to buy. So potentially a pullback, as we've been talking about last week or two, for the VIX to come up, and then a leg up higher for the markets, a leg down for the VIX. So finally, we'll go on to some alts to watch for the week. So all of these alts are at weekly resistance, and I've featured all of these assets on the channel before, and pretty much talking about the same levels. So we're at this weekly resistance at ADA at about 40 cents or so, clear level of support and resistance. If we go to the daily, the level to watch is pretty much where we are now. You can see these swing highs here, about 40.60, something like that, and you can see that price has been respecting it the past 3-4 days. So a break above there, then you might be looking higher. However, if BTC and ETH reject their current resistances, then this weekly resistance may well hold. So not a bad place to take some profits potentially. In terms of swing trading, I'd wait to see a clear rejection. So basically start trading below this weekly resistance area at about 38 cents ish perhaps. But that's my take on it. Avax, again, right into some higher time frame resistance. As you can see, multiple rejections off this level. Might see a little push higher up to about 21.30 or so. But yeah, again, not a bad place to be taking some profits if you haven't already. Of course, if BTC rejects, then you're going to see lower prices. However, BTC may well push through, and that will be the fuel that these alts need to get past their weekly resistances. We go to let's get rid of that. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to get rid of that. Visibility, take that off the week. So near at weekly resistance. So yesterday we closed right under this resistance here at $2.58, looking quite bearish. However, we are poking our head above it at the moment. If we go down to the daily, you can see that it is at a let's get rid of that. We are at a range high. So this weekly level, as I just highlighted on the weekly time frame, $2.58. Not only is it a weekly level, but it's a daily range high. As you can see, lots of wicks and candle body closes in this area. So that's the range high. You've got range low down here at about $2, mid range about $2.30. So whilst it looks quite strong at the moment, we have had plenty of wicks in this area turn to rejection. So it could happen again. However, it's all dependent on BTC and ETH. See a rejection here down to the mid range and then potentially the range low. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Again, not a bad place to take profits if you haven't already. And finally, ZIL, same situation. Weekly level of resistance. As you can see, we've had wick as high as 3.7 cents turned into a rejection back here in October. So could happen, no matter how strong it looks, could always turn. So again, not a bad place to take some profits. In terms of a daily level to keep an eye on, which is capping price at the moment, 0.034. So what you could do, take some profits, and then if you see a daily close back above that, then maybe jump back in, something like that. Of course, not financial advice. It's completely up to you what you do. Just here to highlight some things you may not be seeing for yourself. But yeah, basically all of these assets, all at higher time frame, weekly resistances, with some daily invalidations. However, all eyes on BTC. If BTC can break 25.2, then that will be the fuel they all need to break past their own resistances. If we see rejections, then you'll probably, if you see a rejection on BTC and ETH at their respective resistances, then you're probably going to see a rejection on those alts at their weekly resistances as well. So yeah, keep an eye on things. No US market today. And then a pretty quiet week on the news front as well. So all eyes on these on these levels that I've highlighted. So have a good week, and I will catch up with you on Friday, and we'll see what's happened.